Start then. Good evening. I hereby call the regular meeting of the Administrative Appeals Board of May 22nd, 2024. The order. Board Secretary, please conduct a roll call.
Board Member Vasily,
Here.
Board Member King is absent. Vice Chair Parker
Here.
and Chair Sinclair.
Here,
Thank you.
our first agenda item is the acceptance of the agenda. The board can discuss and may amend the order of the agenda. I would like to entertain a motion first and second for acceptance of the agenda.
I move to accept the agenda. I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Does I have to do the roll?
Or she does the roll.
She'll do
I've been in too many boards in my life.
it.
Board Member Vasily,
Aye.
Vice Chair Parker
Aye.
and Chair Sinclair.
Here,
Motion carries 3-0.
the next item is public comment. The time has come is set aside for members of the public to address the board on items of general interest with the subject matter of the jurisdiction of the board. 3 minutes will be assigned to each speaker. Although the board values your comments pursuant to the Brown Act, the board generally cannot take any action on items not listed in the posted agenda. Testimony for hearings will be only taken at the time of the hearing. Board Secretary, please begin the public comment period.
We do have signed affidavits from city staff and appellant, and if in person, anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
This is the public comment period, not an appeal yet. We haven't done that. So is there anybody from the public who has signed an affidavit who wants to speak on behalf of the public?
No, it just put down that. It seems like.
Jacob Gonzalez, was there an item specific or non-agenda item?
sir.
Okay, sir, thank you. No comments.
Then we'll go to the first appealing hearing, item number 4. Concerning the property located at 4018 East Paseo Luisa. It's an appeal of a $5,000 fine and administrative decision that Jace Borba is permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Board Secretary, please ensure city staff and the appellant understand their testimony is under oath.
We do have signed affidavits from city staff and appellant. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby acknowledge and accept that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Is Zoom on? That is, okay. I got it. You can't see it.
Staff, please present your report
Yes,
and
good
state your name, please.
Yes, good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, Board Member. My name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance, and we oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. I thank you for everyone joining our appeals this evening. Before you this evening is a staff report for the property located at 4018 East Paseo Luisa here in Palm Springs. Staff has found that this property did operate as a vacation rental or a home share, excuse me, without a valid vacation rental certificate from the elements that are listed in the staff reports, items on numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. On review, it was confirmed that this property was operating as an unregistered home share, and the code officer that investigated the property did issue an administrative citation AB 0664. To further provide testimony, the code officer that investigated the property is here to provide that testimony, and I would like to invite the code officer to the table to provide further testimony. Thank you.
I get this back. Sarah on the left.
Good evening, members of the board, my fellow city staff and members of the public that may be with us in tonight's attendance. My name is Jacob Gonzalez. I serve as a code compliance officer for the city of Palm Springs. On February 2nd, 2024, during a comprehensive review of available rental listings on the web-based booking platform Airbnb.com, I encountered an advertisement in the Demuth Park neighborhood entitled "Studio Available in Palm Springs," which is found in attachment number 5 of the staff report. Upon further review of the advertisement, it was noted that the one-bedroom studio was being offered short-term stays with no minimum night requirement. Despite the absence of a city ID number, a requisite for registered vacation rental properties, an examination of the photos contained within the advertisement facilitated the positive identification of the property address at 4018 East Paseo Luisa. Subsequently, upon review of the city's vacation rental registration records, it was confirmed that the identified property did not possess a vacation rental registration certificate. In an effort to find further details, I used Airbnb.com contact host feature to send a message inquiring about the week-long stay in December. The message was as follows: "Hello, I'm interested in booking for approximately a week in February 4th to February 10th. And I was curious about the proximity of the property downtown." The host, identified as Juan, responded to my inquiry with the following unique response: "Hello, good evening. The city center is a 7-minute drive, and I live 3 minutes from the airport." Subsequently, Juan extended the invitation to book the requested short-term stay of 6 nights from February 4th to February 10th. The exchange is documented in the staff report as attachment number 6 on page 37. Based on the findings derived from the advertisement, the unique response to my inquiry, and subsequent invitation to book the requested 6-night stay, it was determined that the property at 4018 East Paseo Luisa was in violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code 5.25.040A, operating home share interest without valid vacation rental registration certificate. I issued citation AB 0663 to the property owner on title, J Spore, and dispatched a certified mail to the recorded address at the title and non-certified mail to the actual address in the violation. This will be all I have to present. I'll hand it over to Patrick. I'm available for questions if there are any.
Thank you, officer. Mr. Clifford,
Just to clarify, I believe I put in the staff report, administrative AB 0664, and just confirming that the citation that was issued by the code officer is AB 0663. So that's a typo in my staff report. Apologies.
any further?
Nothing further, Chair. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the board?
I have a question. Can one of you guys remind me what the code says relative to home share? When I was reading it earlier, it said something about the owner not being on site, but I'm not sure that's accurate.
Yes, I'll be happy to answer. So in our vacation rental ordinance, we do define home share and we define vacation rental. Home sharing is defined as an activity whereby the owner hosts visitors in the owner's home for compensation for periods of 28 consecutive days or less with the owner while the owner lives on site and in the home throughout the visitor's stay.
And did that has that code always been in force since we had the short-term municipal code in general, or was it something that was augmented later?
So the home sharing definitions has been in the municipal code from at least I recall back since 2017.
So,
Okay, yeah, it may have been prior to that. I just don't have recollection.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Mr. Vasili, any questions?
No questions.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice having trouble finding the documents. Yeah. I can't get my documents are coming back. So.
Yeah, okay.
That's all. So when I click on the attachment, nothing comes out. So I want to see attachment 5.
That's what I was trying to find. Things, we have a different format today.
Okay, so that's all of them?
There we go.
Okay, great.
Patrick, are you
Thank
okay?
She's the same. Sorry, we need computer training. Right there. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank
At
you.
this time, I would like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant is invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any members of the public who desire to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. Any member of the public testifies, the appellant will be invited to provide a rebuttal of up to 2 minutes. Now I'd like to ask that or to begin the appeal hearing.
I have Jace Borbat in person.
Where would you like me?
At the microphone,
At the seat, yeah.
Thank you.
and please turn on the mic with the button.
Thanks. As noted before, my name is Jace Borba. And I'm a retired high school teacher and union organizer. And I moved here in 2017 during that whole maelstrom of what to do with short-term rentals, what to do with this. So I kept receiving the desert sun and reading the difference from La Quinta to Indian Wells to Rancho Mirage and who wanted what. And my head exploded. And so when I finally moved here to Palm Springs, I was totally in the dark about what to do. So I didn't know that I had to register for anything. So I plead ignorance on totally my fault. I should have done my due diligence and did not. As stated before, my address is 4018 East Paseo Luisa. And I've lived there since 2020, I believe. And let's see. In your packets that you have on my information, the first thing that leapt out at me was Mr. Gonzalez's report was that the site address is correct. My address, however, is not correct. That said property owners at 4081 instead of 18. So if anything was sent to me to that address, I didn't receive it. I received no certified mail, anything. Let's see. So once that was, well, I got an email that said that I had to apply for a permit. And this was in February, on February 13th. And so I did do my due diligence because that's just the kind of guy I am. Being a high school teacher, I follow the rules all the time. And so I immediately sent an email to one of the people in your office. And which I received an immediate denial the next day. The problem was that next day I was on a plane going to Brazil. So everything was turned off in flight mode. So I didn't receive any of this until I turned everything back on and I got on Wi-Fi in Brazil. I got back on the 22nd of February and immediately made an appointment with the special program compliance person, Mitch.
Nathan.
Yeah. So I made an appointment with him and I got an appointment with him in March, middle of March. And after my meeting with him, after we kind of parsed through everything just so that I can understand the labyrinth of things that I had to do, I met with him and then immediately scheduled this appeal on 3/14. And what happened in the meantime was I still kept receiving bills from saying, pay this $5,000, pay this $5,000. I got one in March, I got one in April. So then I called Mitch back because I kept receiving these things and realized that this was an outsourced billing program that I think you guys were trying out. And I was concerned about that because Mitch had told me that if I'm applying for the appeal, all of the fines and everything were suspended. And so I called him, and that's part of the documentation that I submitted was my contemporaneous notes about my conversation with Mitch. And not having received any confirmation, and Mitch told me, what, we don't have any confirmation of your appeal. And I had appealed the month prior, but there was something happening that the addresses weren't matching up, or I don't know what went on, but anyway, it wasn't in your system as having been scheduled for the appeal, and that was on March 14th. And this was in April 10th. That they had, you guys, or your office had no reception of my hearing appeal. And no record. Right after that, I did start receiving things with the correct address on it. And it all started with this crazy address mix up. And so that's why I'm here. The first document that I submitted earlier yesterday was the incorrect address that was originally reported by Mr. Gonzalez was 4081, which is in the middle of the street. So I can assure you, I don't have a tent out in the middle of the street and sleeping there. The second document that I submitted was the scheduling of the appeal and my receipt for the bill for the appeals. And then the other document, the document that I submitted to you guys was the contemporaneous notes in my conversation with Mitch. And so I just, ignorance on my part, number one, and then snafu, just was snafu after snafu, it seemed like to me. And so I would like the opportunity to wipe the slate clean and resubmit my application for a permit. So that would be my remedy for this. Did you have any questions for me?
Questions?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Did you want to do your speech first?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so the address issue aside.
Yeah.
Right, so the you eventually received the citation and the notice of citation via email. Is that, did I understand you correctly?
Yeah.
Because it went to the incorrect address. At
Yes.
the beginning, okay. So you're not disputing that the violation occurred? It's
No,
the fact
not at all.
that the delay in getting it, you got another notice about the fine. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just curious, one of the things you said, I'm trying to quote you, but I don't think I have it right, so I
That's okay.
apologize, Mr. Borba, that you're a high school teacher, you like to do your research. I'm curious, knowing that, why you didn't dive into the city's website that does a really good job of listing all of the requirements for short-term rentals and home shares, et cetera, prior to doing this.
Well, number one, what I found on the Palm Springs City website, it's when you're trying to ferret out specifics, it's like a Gordian knot. Very, very difficult to find stuff, even though if you search, it's still, I found it very, very difficult and unwieldy, kind of.
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions.
Mr. Basili?
Just to follow up on the question that was just asked to you. If it was that difficult to go through the site, why didn't you just call the city and ask for assistance?
You know, I did go.
It's a silly question, but.
No, it's not silly at all. I did go to the I started at the FAQs, of course.
Sure.
Well, and I found it. And here's the teacher in me. I found it rather terse in how they explain things. They said, well, you're a property owner in Palm Springs, you should know, basically. I mean, that's in a nutshell what it said.
Sure.
So, my head was still exploding from all the differing informations and city codes that we have around here, because there are so many of them. Not only in Palm Springs, but, in Rancho and Indian Wells and La Quinta. So that was kind of like where I got stuck, basically. But when I found out that I was in violation of something, I immediately, sprang to do my duty, because that's how I'm trained.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I have no questions. At this time, I would like, to open the board up for discussion and additional questions from the board. So, Mr. Vasili, Ms. Parker,
I don't have any questions, just a,
discussion.
yeah, this seems to be an issue with folks when they start to rent their properties out. Unfortunately, they don't realize that you're running a business, and running a business requires a permit. And I know that sometimes people don't think about that because it's their home, and they don't think that there's anything wrong with doing that, but when you're running a business, you have to pay taxes and you have to register your folks as well, because you have liabilities with those folks on your property. And so this is an issue that's not unique to us. We've heard this from a lot of folks, unfortunately. We're bound by a set of guidelines that we have to follow when we're looking at a violation and where it fits. And so it sort of makes us, we're limited in the amount of information or direction we can go outside the boundaries of the guidelines. And so it's unfortunate, but it's a situation that happens quite a lot.
Ms. Parker,
No, I think I'll just add to what board member Vasili said, which is the strict liability guideline that we have to follow the letter of the municipal code. And if the violation occurred, even if it was ignorance, if you didn't know the violation occurred, if our hands are basically tied,
Yeah.
if you admit to the violation.
this is a strict liability ordinance, which means, if you did it, you're guilty of the offense. Also, under the ordinance, we have, as a board, no leeway at all to do other than to uphold the appeal or deny the appeal. So that's the only thing that we're allowed to do. It's unfortunate you had to go through some hoops after, but your admission of having done what the appeal is about, I think is where we have to go with this. So I'd like to have a motion to, with regard to the appeal.
I'll move that we uphold the violation citation.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Board Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Board Member Vasili,
Aye.
Board, Vice Chair Parker,
Aye.
and Chair Sinclair.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
So your appeal has been denied, Mr. Borber, and we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The next item is item 5. It's property located at 3982 Eastgate Road. It's the appeal of a $5,000 fine and administrative decision that Maximus Fumiyama, and you can tell me how to pronounce that, is permanently eligible to operate a vacation rental. Board Secretary, please ensure the city staff and the appellant understand that testimony is under oath.
We do have signed affidavits from city staff and appellant. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Mr. Clifford, you're up.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Board Member, everyone joining our meeting this evening. my name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance. And we oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. And before you this evening is a staff report for the property located at 3982 East Gate Road. It was determined that this property was operated as an unregistered home share from the elements that are listed in the staff report provided to you, specifically items numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. The code officer that did investigate the property and issued the administrative citation AB 063 is with us this evening. And I would invite the code officer to the table to provide further testimony. Thank you.
Officer, please state your name and proceed.
My name is Jacob Gonzalez. I'm a code compliance officer with the city of Palm Springs. On February 5th, 2024, I was conducting a review of available rental listings on the web-based booking platform Airbnb.com. I came across an advertisement in the Desert Highland Gateway Estates neighborhood titled Beautiful Guest Bedroom in sunny Palm Springs, which can be found as attachment number 5 in the staff report. While reviewing the advertisement, it stated that a private room was being offered for a short-term stay with no minimum night stay. I was unable to find the city ID number listed as required for registered vacation rental properties. So I reviewed the photos contained within the ad and was able to positively identify the property as 3892 Eastgate Road. Upon review of the city's vacation rental registration records, I confirmed the property identified and did not hold a vacation rental registration certificate. I sent a message via the Airbnb.com contact host feature inquiring of a 2-night stay in February. The message was, hello, I was looking to book for a few nights or a few days in February 12th to the 14th, and I was wondering how far away from downtown this was. The host, Maximus, responded to my inquiry with the following unique response. Hello, Jacob. I'm sorry for the delay in responding. I'm having issues responding to the messages on the Airbnb app. Downtown is only 8 minutes away by car from my home. Additionally, Sunday, February 11th has also become available. If you have any additional questions, let me know. Thank you, Max. Maximus subsequently sent me an invitation to book my requested short-term stay of 2 nights from February 12th to February 14th. This exchange is included in the staff report as attachment number 6, beginning on page 55. As a result of my findings with the advertisement, the unique response to my inquiry, as well as the invitation to book the requested 2-night stay, I found the property located at 3892 Eastgate Road in violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code 5.25040A, operating a home share interest without a vacation rental registration certificate, and issued citation AB 0673 to the property owner on title Maxis Fuminaya. This will conclude what I have to present. I'll hand it back over to Patrick, but I'm available for questions if there are any.
Thank you, officer. Mr. Clifford,
And I had nothing further here. Thanks.
questions of the officer?
No questions from me. I don't have a question.
Officer Gonzalez, were there contract summaries submitted on this property for these stays?
So I wouldn't have looked up contract summaries because it wasn't registered with the city.
Okay, so obviously, the TOT wasn't paid either.
I wouldn't believe so.
Just want to further clarify, Chair, with the ordinance, our vacation rental ordinance does not require home sharing properties to submit contract summaries. So if this
Okay.
was a registered home share with the city, we would require the transit tax, but we do not require contract summaries.
Okay, great, thanks. All right,
Good to know.
no further questions. Thank you, officer. This time I would like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant is invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any members of the public who wish to speak on this appeal hearing shall have up to 3 minutes to speak. If a member of the public testifies, the appellant shall have up to two minutes for rebuttal. So we're ready for the appellant's testimony.
Max Luminaya.
Please state your name and your time of 10 minutes starts now.
Okay. Oh, good afternoon. My name is Max Minaya.
Can you press that little button?
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
thanks.
Folks, good afternoon. My name is Max Minaya. Thanks for the opportunity to come over and speak to you about the citation that I received. Just to let you know, I bought my home in Palm Springs back in 2016. But I did not live in the home because I was actually overseas, as I was a merchant marine, so I worked for the Navy. And coming to the area, back and forth, I decided to make it home full time. So I moved here in October of 2018. And then I always been an avid user of Airbnb wherever I travel overseas as a guest. So I thought it'd be a good opportunity to meet people and showcase the city that I love so much. So I started to do the Airbnb, one of the guest bedrooms in the home. At that time, when I was looking for information, there was a lot of information about vacation rentals, and it was confusing. There was a lot of information about different rules, what it was. There was a lot of laws going. I think the petitions, I don't know, propositions, I don't know the term, but when something comes in, the public has to decide on that. So I did some research, and I looked on the website of the city, and first of all, I wanted to know whether my house was actually considered a vacation rental. So I did do some research, and it was still confusing to me because, okay, my really vacation home when I'm actually living in the home, you know, and this term home sharing is something that is new to me. I don't know if it is a language barrier. English is not my first language. I always thought about something like Airbnb. I'm Airbnb a guest bedroom in my house. I'm not home sharing. Home sharing is a new term for me. So when I looked at the city's website, there's a lot of information about vacation rental. And the first thing I looked on the Q&A section was, what is a vacation rental? A vacation rental says when you're renting the property less than 28 days and the person is not living in the house. So when I read that, automatically, okay, this doesn't apply to me. So I don't have to apply for a permit, you know. That's what I read and that's what I understood. So I moved forward with advertising the guest bedroom. At the beginning, it was like a good way to meet people. I mean, it's like charging like $50 a night. And then I realized as time went on, my home doesn't have a pool, so it's not a place that a lot of people want to come to the area. People want to come to Palm Springs to enjoy the water, to enjoy, especially in the summertime. So it's something that I mostly did it on the music festivals. Just give you an idea, last year, the earnings that I got last year was $998. Okay, so it's not something that I do as a supplemental income a little bit, but it's not something that I live off. I do most for the cultural exchange, and there are a lot of interesting people, just like when I'm a guest as well. And it has been a good experience, and it has been a good experience to showcase the city in a well as well, because people come in and they want to have that connection with somebody local that can tell them about the city, what's going on. So for me, the reason why I don't have a permit is because it was my understanding that I don't need a permit. And again, the term home sharing is something that is new to me. I used to call it something else. I'm Airbnb and guest in my guest bedroom in the house. There's a lot of things that happened through the pandemic, you know, through Airbnb. You know, you couldn't host. You can only host like emergency workers. And then I'm here to when I received the citation of $5,000, I haven't made that much money doing this. And I want an opportunity to be able to fix this issue. Whether it is to show you the earnings that I received so I can pay taxes on that to the city. That's my proposal. And my proposal is to be able to have an opportunity to properly get my guest bedroom registered. And also to issue an apology to the city and to the board for me not getting all the right information or to be in this type of situation that I'm in right now. And I welcome any questions from you guys.
Questions, Mr. Vasili?
I have a question. Excuse me. But I was wondering if I could ask Patrick a question really quickly.
Sure.
So on our website, does it make mention of home sharing?
I can confirm. Let me let's get to the website here. I think probably specifically in the FAQs section or just in the anywhere in general.
Yeah, if someone is looking it up and trying to find out whether. or
Yeah,
not-
Mr. Clifford, I think testified in the last hearing that it was 2017.
That's correct. At least the ordinance language was there right now with respect to the
website.
the website itself. The front page, right in the front, and this may differ than what I believe the appellant mentions maybe back in 2016, because I think this is where he may have said he looked, but right now on our vacation rental main page, first bullet, vacation rentals and home sharing are only allowed as ancillary and secondary uses of a residential property in the city. And that's right on the front page of the vacation rental.
Okay,
And the second bullet says establishes a regulatory program for vacation rental and home sharing lodging to minimize adverse effects of vacation rental uses on surrounding residential neighborhoods. Third bullet limits vacation rental and home sharing lodging to single family dwelling units and prohibits vacation rental and home sharing lodging in apartments. Provides a permitting process and imposes operation requirements, confirms a vacation rental registration certificate is a privilege, not a right. So those are the first bullets there. This website's pretty robust with a lot of information. You can get easily into different sections, reading different material. The registration certificate box, you click on that. It has a variety of types of applications. If you select on in-person application, it says new application, renewal application. And go further, vacation rental application, home share application, stuff like that.
okay, thank you.
At all,
Um,
something else?
No, that's, and you said that verbiage was as of 2017.
This verbiage was most likely, I added it when the latest ordinance came in around November 2022. Because we had a new ordinance 2075, I did a little update as far as the new points of that, so confirm at least it was there around that time. Prior, I'm not too sure.
Okay,
Can I ask a follow-up to that? What was that ordinance change in November 22?
That was ordinance 2075.
I mean, what changed?
Oh, so what changed from that ordinance compared to ordinance, I think it was 1918 prior to that, is the city implemented neighborhood caps of 20%
Oh,
of the
caps.
vacation. We introduced a new vacation rental certificate called the junior permits. We reduced contract summaries or the allotted contracts annually for vacation rentals from 32 and 4 and 34 to 26.
26.
Home sharing was nothing that was changed in this ordinance compared to the past. That was carried over from the ordinance 1918.
So
no
nothing in
changes
home
there.
sharing changed in that ordinance?
Correct.
Okay,
The only clarification is that home sharing is not subject to the percentage caps in the neighborhood. So if a
Okay.
neighborhood cap is over 20%, we still permit home sharings in those neighborhoods.
so someone can still get a certificate in a neighborhood that's over cap for home sharing purpose. Okay,
Correct.
okay.
and sir, you said that you were renting your room out. Was it this year that you were doing it or last year?
Oh, no, I did it last year as well.
2018,
Uh,
right?
since 2019, that's
Yeah.
when I first started doing Airbnb. And there's many times that I stopped because it's when you're doing Airbnb, you know, when you're a guest, it's all based on reviews, you know. And for me, I don't want to just do like a lot of people do self-checking.
Yeah.
So I like to be there when the guest comes in just to build a rapport. And so it conflicts my schedule at work because I have to be there available when they are. So, and then of course, during the pandemic, there was no hosting. Then I realized in the summertime, my power bill was more expensive than what I was earning from the little rentals I did. So I don't host in the summertime, like from now on, I don't do that till like maybe when the weather gets better. And also with that being said, in terms of again, the thing here is the confusion with the term home sharing. It's something that is new to me. I didn't understand what it was till I received the citation. When I received the citation, it was supposed to be registered mail. It didn't come to, you know, they're supposed to bring it out the house. It was just dropped in the mailbox. And as soon as I saw that, I was shocked. I was disappointed that this has happened. And I immediately enlisted the guest bedroom from Airbnb so I can go through this process and get to the point of being here today. And I submitted the fee for the $911.
Okay.
And so yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. Thank you.
Ms. Parker?
I don't think I have any questions, more just a comment. You probably heard the previous case and our comments relative to that case and, how our hands are tied if a violation occurred. Regardless of the reason for the violation. The only thing I wanted to mention though, just so you're aware, you mentioned, you'll pay the back taxes on it. Certainly taxes are part of it, but it's not the main driver for this municipal code in the city. It's really to strike a balance between our effective tourism industry and minimizing the effects of maybe oversaturation of vacation share or short-term rentals in neighborhoods with full-time residents. And it's really striking that balance. So the city's very strict on it for exactly that reason. I just wanted to point that out to you. The other thing is, regardless of our decision here this evening, does not prevent you from renting the room for long-term rentals. So 29 days or more, it doesn't prevent that. It's just short-term rentals. I just wanted to let you know that.
Any other questions?
Nothing.
Now I'd like to open this up for discussion and or additional questions from the board. Mr. Parker?
I don't have any other questions, just comments relative to the same thing that we just spoke about the violation occurring, and it's unfortunate, and Max has many good reviews. He was obviously a great host through that process, but the violation occurred, and it is what it is.
Patrick?
No questions.
And again, our hands are tied under the ordinance, so, can I have a motion? Whose turn is it?
I'll test the motion to uphold the fine.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Board Member Vasily,
Aye.
Vice Chair Parker,
Aye.
and Chair Sinclair.
Aye,
Motion carries 3-0.
so the board has denied the appeal, Mr. Fuminaya, and we thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Next is item 6 concerning the property located at 2240 North San Gorgonio Road. It's the appeal of a $5,000 fine and a $10,000 fine administrative decision that Oliver Juan Lee is permanently ineligible to operate a vacation rental in the city of Palm Springs. Board Secretary, please ensure that the staff and the appellant understand the testimony is under oath.
We do have signed affidavits from city staff and appellant. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Mr. Clifford, please make your report.
Yes, good evening. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Board Member, residents, city staff joining this evening. My name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance, and we oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. Before you use the staff report for the property located at 2240 North San Gorgonio Road. You'll notice in the staff report that this may differ from previous staff reports that you've previously seen. In most cases, you see one citation and the decision for permanent ineligibility to operate a vacation rental. I did notice that on the appeal we was received that it referenced administrative citation AB 0679 in the amount of $10,000. That's usually the 10,000 is the second level citation issued. They'd find that there was a first administrative citation issued, AB 0583, issued in the amount of $5,000 to the property owner for the property. As that citation was not listed in the appeal, I did feel that we should include this in the staff reports, as well as be able to provide a resolution for that citation as well as the second citation. Reason being for that is because any decision made on the second citation, there's still the first citation that was issued with the same penalty of permanent ineligibility. And so in that, we wanted to present both for discussion in the staff report. And after I present this, I'd be happy to answer any questions on that. But in the staff report, it is broken down for each citation under the staff analysis. The first citation is shown AB 0583. It was found that the property at 2240 North San Gorgonio was operating as a vacation rental without a vacation rental certificate as of August 30th, 2023. The elements that led to that citation being issued are included in that sections, specifically numbers 1 through 4. Additionally, the second citation is also listed in the staff report under citation AB 0679. It was found that the property 2240 North San Gorgonio Road did not have a vacation rental certificate as a violation date of February 16th, 2024. And the elements that led to that citation are included in the staff report, specifically numbers 1 through 5. Staff found in both occasions that there was a violation to the vacation rental ordinance and issued administrative citations to the property owner on record. The code officers that investigated the property are here this evening to provide further testimony. And I would invite the code officer to the table to provide further testimony on the citations. Thank you.
Mr. Clifford, we are only hearing the one case or both?
We presented both into the staff report, and we feel confident that it should be, just because of the penalty that is applied to one are still the same for the first one.
Okay.
We think it would be fair. That way we don't have to have another appeal for the first citation.
Okay. Officer Whitaker, would you please state your name and give us your report?
Yes, so good evening, Chair, Vice Chair, and Board Member Vasily, city staff, and members of the public present for this evening's hearing. My name is Jason Whitaker. I'm a code compliance officer for the city of Palm Springs. Initially on Sunday, December 10th, 2023, while conducting a review of available rental listings on the web-based booking platform Airbnb.com, I discovered an advertisement in the Gene Autry neighborhood of Palm Springs titled Palm Springs Poolside Retreat, which can be found in attachment number 8 of the staff report. While reviewing the advertisement, it stated that the 3-bedroom home was being offered for up to 8 guests with a minimum 3-night stay per the booking calendar. I was unable to find a city ID number on the advertisement as required for a registered vacation rental property, so I reviewed the photos contained within the advertisement, and I positively identified the property address as 2240 North San Gorgonio Road. Upon review of the city's vacation rental registration records, I confirmed that the property identified did not hold a vacation rental registration certificate and was previously issued administrative citation number AB 0583 on August 30th, 2023 by Code Officer Jonathan Ingram for operating as a short-term vacation rental without a registration certificate. I then sent a message the afternoon of December 10th, 2023 via the Airbnb.com contact host feature, which can be found at attachment number 9 of the staff report, inquiring about a short-term stay for 4 nights arriving April 19th, 2024 and departing on April 23rd, 2024. My message stated, "Hi, we just wanted to ask before booking for Coachella, is the check-in time flexible at all? We will all be arriving at different times. Thank you." I received a response later that evening from the host, Palm Springs Desert Havens, who stated, "Hi, Jace. Yes, we can be flexible. Can you DM us at Desert Havens on IG to coordinate?" Once I received this message, I held off until February 14th, 2024 to respond to the host to engage further by stating, "Hi, is this home still available for these dates in April?" After receiving no response from the host, I sent another message on February 15th, 2024, which stated, "Just checking one more time." I received the following response from the host, Palm Springs Desert Havens. "Hi, sorry for the delayed response. Yes, they are, but we ran into an issue with booking here on Airbnb. Can you please reach out to the PS Desert Havens at Gmail to coordinate?" In which I responded with, "Sure, I will email," then followed up with, "Just sent the email." The host responded one last time via the Airbnb messaging platform with, "Got it, thank you." After receiving that final message via Airbnb, the messaging continued via email with the host, which can be found as attachment 9 of the staff report. And so in my email, I just said, "Hello, I'm inquiring about your Airbnb ad," and then I copied and pasted the web link to the advertisement. And I'm just wanting to book the property, from April 19th through the 23rd, 2024 for 5 adults. I received a response from Julia J, which stated, "Hi Jace, absolutely, and thank you for your patience once again. For booking off platform, we can book these dates for you for $5,500. Let me know if that works and I'll send over a rental agreement. Also attaching the PS Good Neighbor brochure, which is required to be sent to all renters in the city. Let me know if that works and I'll send over a rental agreement." Let me know if you have any questions. Best, Julia and Oliver. And then as mentioned by Julia in the email, a copy of the City of Palm Springs short-term vacation rental Good Neighbor brochure was attached to the email. Albeit not the most current version of the brochure. And then I sent an email to the host stating that should work. Thank you. I then received one final email from the host, Julia, stating, "Great, please find the rental agreement attached. We'll send an invoice over shortly as well." Including in the email was the aforementioned short-term rental agreement, which can be found in attachment number 9, pages 67 through 68 of the staff report. As you can see, the rental agreement titled Short-Term Rental Agreement indicates a rental period of April 19th with a check-in time of 3 p.m. and a checkout date of April 23rd, 2024 at 11 a.m. And you will find on page 2, the owner's name, Oliver Lee, as well as his signature. You will also find an additional email in attachment number 9, pages 65 through 66 of the staff report with the subject line invoice 1003 from Desert Haven. So this email includes a link to review and pay the amount of $5,500 via QuickBooks, an accounting software package. So as a result of my findings contained within the advertisement, the host's responses to my inquiry, as well as the host invitation to book a 4-night stay, I found that the property at 2240 North San Gregorio Road was in violation of PSMC 5.25.040A, operating a vacation rental without a vacation rental registration certificate, and issued administrative citation number AB 0679 for a second violation for the same offense to the property owner on title Oliver Lee. So that will conclude my testimony. I'm available for any questions.
We can just start this time if you want.
Sure. Chair, if I may, I have
Yeah.
one thing, just want to provide that, if you do want to have further information related to the first citation, code supervisor Navhan is here to give information
Okay.
related to that citation.
Yeah.
And then additionally, just to add, then the resolutions that we put together, there are, 2 more options, resolutions related to the first citation and resolution related to the second citations. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to ask Officer Whitaker. You said you went online on December 10th of last year
Yes.
and found this one.
Mhm.
Do you have, or do I need to ask Officer Nevin when the first citation was issued?
September, I think. it said.
Because
I do have that.
I didn't write that down.
Staff report here, let me just pull it up, the first.
I have
citation.
820 for,
It was September 23, I think, right? September 2023.
Yeah, September 6th, 2023 was the date the citation was issued for the violation found August 30th, 2023.
okay. And was there any type of? They have actually appealed the first citation also?
So they didn't appeal the first, and for the record, my name is Mitch Nev, I'm co-compliance supervisor for the city of Palm Springs. I oversee the vacation rental enforcement program. So for that first citation that was issued in September of 2023 for the violation found in October, it was actually paid in full without appeal by the property owner in October of 2023.
So they paid the fine?
Correct.
So this new one, the fine is $10,000 because it's a second offense within a year.
Correct. I believe in the appellant's statement on their appeals form, they also acknowledge receiving having received the first notice of violation letter that was sent back.
Now, after that was done, did you happen to go in and check the site to see if it had been changed?
So I believe what's included in the staff report related to Officer Whitaker's findings in
Right.
December,
In the site?
that it was still being advertised with a minimum of 7 nights. So it was, the advertisement itself was remained in violation at least in December of 2023.
Okay, thanks. Anything further, Officer Whitaker?
Nothing further.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
I just want to make sure I understand. So it's September 23, that original citation, it was found there was no certificate. The citation was issued, there was a $5,000 fine.
Right.
That was paid. Then in February 24, a new advertisement, or maybe the same one, but still no certificate. A new citation was issued, right? So there was never an application for a certificate after that first fine was paid. I'm sorry, there was no certificate issued for the home.
Right, no certificate was issued. I don't recall if an application was received and we denied it after the first citation was issued, but surely no certificate has been issued.
Okay,
So the ban attaches when they paid the fine for the first violation.
The permanent ineligibility will be once the violation is found. Payment of the citation doesn't make the permanent ineligibility go forward, but the violation itself is found to have.
So at the time of the second violation, they were actually banned from having a vacation rental permit or renting the place.
that's right.
Okay,
And one sort of curious question, maybe you guys experience, I'm just following up on that email exchange. I mean, it went from the Airbnb platform to the email.
Yes.
Is there some sort of a benefit to booking off platform to the owners? I mean, they avoid the Airbnb fee, right?
Yeah,
We can only really say what we hear, because we don't see
Right,
those things.
right.
I mean, one would point that if there's any fees on Airbnb platform, it might not be associated with an off platform.
Because you're booking direct.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious. Thank you.
okay. Any other questions, Patrick?
No, no questions.
Anything further from the city? Great, then at this time, I would like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant is invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any members of the public who wish to speak have up to 3 minutes on this appeal hearing. If any member of the public testifies, the appellant will have 2 minutes for rebuttal. Appellant, please state your name and begin your time, which starts now.
Good evening. My name is Oliver Lee. Thank you for your time tonight. Yeah, so I'm not a professional business owner. We moved to Palm Springs, myself and my wife Julia in 2021. With the hopes that this would be our permanent home. We were displaced and moved back to the Bay Area, which is one of the most expensive places on earth. But we wanted to keep this home. And so to stop the financial bleeding, we thought, hey, let's put on Airbnb. Obviously, that was a poor decision because we did not have a permit. We were issued the citation, which admittedly, I went right into it. I was like, okay, I'll pay this, accepting full responsibility. And then immediately afterwards, we made the minimum booking 30 nights in order to not make that same mistake again. And it was fine for months until we were reached out on February of this year for a booking. And I've only come to realize now that the reason this happened is because Airbnb has these special filters which allow you to bypass certain rules within whatever your listing is set at. So my 39 minimum day rule was superseded by this festival filter that I had put on years before. So the fact that someone was able to reach out to me and ask about a booking for less than 30 days, that's why that was able to happen. Yeah, to the point about the conversations via email and why we took it off Airbnb, I had fully intended to comply with this with ordinance, and the way I was trying to do that was to come to an agreement with for the rental, and then have a contract essentially amended so I could do a 30 night stay. So I could say, hey, I wanted to grab Jace's number and say, hey, this is what I'm working with here. You might only want to use it for 3 days, which you are certainly able to do, but for the purpose of this rental contract, it's going to have to be 30 days. I was never afforded the opportunity to do so. So that's the basis of my appeal. Sorry, just 1 second. I want to make sure I hit everything here. Yeah, I mean, that's it.
Yeah, I don't understand the basis of your appeal in that you emailed back and forth with regard to the dates and sending the short-term rental. So you're gonna have to tell me a little more about that whole thing.
Sure, yeah, I mean, it's really silly. Again, I'm not a very successful business owner here, but, my intention was to essentially go back and forth to the point where we could come to an agreement that this was a real person who wanted to stay at this place for a certain amount of time. And then my, intent was to essentially give them a 30-day lease on this place. Once we did come to terms, but I was never afforded that opportunity because we never took it to the point where, you know, a booking was made.
I got some questions.
Well, go ahead. I'm confused. Whatever.
So, what was the original citation for?
It was for operating without a short-term rental permit.
Okay, so why didn't you apply for a permit? That should have been your very first order of business when you got that, even before writing the check.
You're correct. I did. I'm on the waiting list and I was on the waiting list for, my neighborhood is one where it's already capped. So I was on that waiting list. And I just didn't get it.
So if you're capped, that means what?
I'm unable
You're
to.
not able to, right? Okay,
But I thought the first citation meant he couldn't apply for a permit.
that's correct. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He was, permanent
banned.
eligibility, yeah.
To clarify, I was on this wait list, basically since we moved back to the Bay Area,
You mean
so.
from the beginning, you were on the wait list for the neighborhood?
Mhm, correct. And just to add some color to that, I did check in with the city afterwards on my position. After over a year, I went from 16 to 16, so there was no movement.
Okay. Um. Why did you decide to move that conversation off of the platform like an email? I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's only because I wanted to be able to kind of like have a more real conversation eventually. Essentially, you know, more informal and kind of, hey, can we hop on the phone so I can tell you, you know, about, I didn't want to scare people off about like, you know, I wanted this business, but I didn't want to scare people off and say, hey, there's this, you know, ordinance that we have to get a little bit weird with this contract to make it a 30-day booking. It's a little complicated, but that was my intent there.
So basically you were gonna offer them 30 days, but only make them pay for 3 days and then they could leave. So you were trying to get around the ordinance, correct?
Correct, but they had the option to, you know,
Okay,
stay the whole 30 days if they wanted.
I don't think. I
But
have
you
any
wouldn't charge them for 30 days.
I wasn't charging them, but it was a 30-day rental for a 3-day fee.
No other questions from me.
There's no questions from me either.
Anything else from anybody?
Chair,
Yeah.
just want to confirm that we do have Oliver Lee on our wait list. It was date January 25th, 2023.
Great, thank you, Ms. Flipper. Now I'd like to open this up for board discussion and any other questions the board may have.
Well,
Yeah, I don't even know where to start.
yeah, it's, the conversation, as Mr. Lee had mentioned, seems rather confusing just to have that conversation, just to try to open it up on the platform and then have someone call and say, you know, let me tell you what's going on. And so you're still trying to get around the ordinance. So you're violating the ordinance, even though you're charging them for 3 days, you're doing that in order to avoid the ordinance, when you could have just simply said, this is a 30-day rental and that's all we can rent it for. So that was one thing. You admitted that you were gonna violate the ordinance again. And it's, you know, after the first violation, I'm sure the city probably told you that you couldn't rent it for a short term. So you kind of admitted your own guilt by saying that you were willing to rent it for the price of three days, but give them 30 days to use it. So it's, I think, I mean, I got my answer when you mentioned that. You kind of admitted your guilt again on this whole thing, so. I'm not trying to laugh at it, it's just you kind of stepped on your own foot. Like,
And advertising is a violation.
yeah,
You have to rent it.
Yeah, advertising it again is a violation of the ordinance because that counts as managing a short-term vacation rental.
Anything else, Mr. Parker?
No, that whole thing to me lends to maybe like a credibility issue, which makes me uncomfortable. So I think the violation occurred. I don't think there's anything we can do here.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move that we uphold both citations and the permanent ineligibility to short-term rental.
In second,
I'll second it.
Board Secretary, will you call the roll, please?
Board Member Vasili,
Aye.
Vice Chair Parker,
Aye.
and Chair Sinclair.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Hey, your appeal's been denied, Mr. Lee. Thank you for your time. And we go to item 7. Concerning the property at 500 South Farrell Drive. Apartment 96, appeal of a $2,500 fine, administrative decision of a 6 months suspension of the vacation rental registration certificate. Board Secretary, please ensure that the city staff may both understand their testimony is under oath.
We do have signed affidavits from city staff and appellant. Anyone on Zoom who desires to testify under this appeal hearing, under the laws of perjury, if you choose to speak, you hereby accept and acknowledge that your testimony shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Mr. Clifford, you're up.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Board Member, residents, and city staff joining us this evening. My name is Patrick Clifford with the Department of Special Program Compliance. We oversee the vacation rental program here in the city of Palm Springs. Now, before you this evening is a staff report for the property located at 500 South Farrell Drive, P96. Some background, this property is a registered vacation rental with the city of Palm Springs with the start date of September 27th, 2021. In staff report, you'll see analysis relating to our contract summary requirements with our vacation rental ordinance. Contract summaries are required to be submitted prior to each short-term occupancy at the vacation rental. Included in the staff report is information relating to when the vacation rental owner is notified that there is a requirement of contract summaries. And specifically in attachment 5, we do provide information relating to when those communications occurred. Specifically, in our vacation rental application at that time under section D, there is a portion where their initial understanding that a contract summary is required. A second notification was sent out via email on November 3rd, 2021, along with their vacation rental certificate. Included in that email was a link to access our online contract summary tool. A third notification was sent via email on November 15th, 2021, along with the transient occupancy tax permit, again with a link to access the contract summary tool. And additionally, for the renewal of 2022, an email was sent on December 19th, 2022, with a link to the contract summary tool. The code officer did investigate the property, is here to provide further testimony on what led to the issuance of the citation. And I would invite the code officer to provide that further testimony here at the table. Thank you.
Good evening, members of the board, my fellow city staff and members of the public that were with us for tonight's hearing. My name is Jacob Gonzalez. I'm a co-compliance officer for the city of Palm Springs. On Saturday, February 12th, we're conducting a thorough review of vacation rental contract summary data prompted by a lead received via the administrative staff of the Department of Special Program Compliance regarding the property situated at 500 South Farrell Drive, Unit P96. It came to my attention that no contract summaries or abstracts of written contract have been submitted as mandated for any vacation rental stays since the issuance of the certificate. My inquiry into the city's pertinent record-keeping database confirmed the absence of any contract summary submissions for 500 South Farrell Drive, Unit P96, with city ID number of 3599. Subsequently, during the course of my investigation, I discovered a corresponding advertisement for the property on Airbnb, enclosed as attachment number 6, commencing on page 37, which featured approximately 29 reviews from guests who had stayed at the property in 2023, many of which indicated short-term stays. Later that same day, on February 12th, 2024, I initiated contact with the property owners, Anna and Nicholas, and formally requested records and adherence to the chapter 5.25.080 of the vacation rental ordinance. This chapter pertaining to audits stipulates that each owner and agent or representative of any owner shall provide an enforcement official with access to each vacation rental and the books, records, documents, papers, tax returns, and bank accounts at any time during the normal business hours as enforcement official may determine are necessary or convenient for the purpose of inspection or audit to determine that the objectives and the conditions of this chapter are being fulfilled. Given the absence of recorded contract summary submissions, I specifically requested copies of the completed City of Palm Springs vacation rental statements of rules and regulations forms for all guest stays and vacation rental bookings spanning from January 2023 to February of 2024. It is pertinent to highlight that completing of the statements of rules and regulations constitute as distinct requirement supplementary to the submission of contract summaries and is typically completed during the check-in process between the property owner or their agent and their guest. Copies from these are only transmitted to the city upon request. In this instance, they were soliciting to ascertain the property's utilization as a vacation rental to ensure compliance with contractual limits for the vacation rental usage. A deadline of 4 p.m. on February 19th, 2024 was stipulated for the submission of the records requested. Furthermore, I corroborated this communication with the property owner via email confirming the request and the established submission deadline as documented in attachment 6 on page 35. The property owner responded to the request with the requisite records on Saturday, February 17th. Upon review of the reservations report as provided in attachment number 6, starting on page 36, it was confirmed that the property facilitated 23 vacation rental stays in the year 2023 from January to December. Subsequent to the comprehensive examination of all findings derived from our investigation, it was concluded that Anna DeStefano and Nicholas Rolston were in violation of Palm Springs Municipal Code 5.25.070H for facilitating approximately 23 vacation rental stays between January 2023 and February 2023, and for failing to submit a contract summary before the guests took occupancy in each instance. Consequently, I sent a notice of violation and a citation addressed to the vacation rental owner and dispatched via certified mail to the recorded address. This will conclude what I have to present. I'll hand it back over to Patrick, but I'm available for questions if there are any.
Thank you, Officer.
And just add a little, we pursuant to municipal code 5.25090D, the vacation rental certificate was suspended for a period of 6 months with the effective date of April 8th, 2024.
Questions from the board?
I just have one. Was the lead, I don't know if this is for you or for Patrick, was the lead that was received, was that a result of applying for the license renewal or the certificate renewal?
I know it was from our administrative team office, deferred to Officer Gonzalez, if that was because of a renewal or if they just found it a different way, but it was, did initiate from our admin office, but what initiated it, unclear.
Okay,
And to be clear, I think it was from the administrative office. I believe it was from a renewal and there was a little bit of investigation done on their part. I found no contract summaries.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your testimony for both of you. This time I would like to open the appeal hearing. The appellant is invited to speak for up to 10 minutes. Any member of the public who desires to speak has an additional 3 minutes to speak. And if there's rebuttal, the appellant has an additional 2 minutes. Appellant, please state your name for the record and begin your time.
Hello, thank you for your time, board and city staff. I'm the vice chair of the Santa Monica Pier Board, so I know the hours and the time that goes into it. I appreciate it. I came today not to dispute the non-compliance, but to address the fine. It seemed a little excessive. We had been paying our monthly taxes online, entering all of that information, so there was certainly no effort to deceive or not do the work. We've been getting, pretty much without fail, the physical contracts, but it stated you just kept it during the length of the stay, and then we got rid of those. Where we were confused was between the link to upload the names, the link to pay the taxes monthly, and the physical contracts. So that confusion was on our end, as Officer Gonzalez mentioned. As soon as he asked for the records that we had, we provided them. without fail. So we've actually, as you mentioned, we're currently under suspension right now until I believe it's October 8th. I'd have to look at my math again. So I did come today to request a decrease in the fine, but understanding jurisdiction, if that's not something you guys are even able to do from a jurisdictional standpoint, then I would withdraw my appeal.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, we just don't have any leeway under the
Yeah.
under the ordinance to do anything other than yes or no.
Yeah, totally understood as I listened to the other appeals. I guess I would make a note, for staff and for any, anybody else listening. We've been renting for over 2 years. And this is the first we had heard about it. And so I would hope that there might be a process to review, we've renewed our permit twice. So if somebody had let us know, we certainly would have made that.
Let us
update
know about
immediately.
the,
Well, it wasn't the first you heard about it, right? Because,
Oh, it was the first.
well, what I mean by that is like. The city testified, in fact, there's 3 different times where they pointed out to you the need to do contract summary.
No.
signed
No,
and
no, I would dispute that. They sent us just, here's the tool.
No,
No, you
so
signed
in your packet, there's the contract that you signed. One of the things you initialed is submitting contract summaries prior to a guest stay. So I'm just taking issue with you saying that nobody pointed out to you.
No, I think, so let me just clarify. I'm saying nobody said, hey, you guys have never done this. We thought we were following it all. For 2 years, we were out of compliance and did not know. So I
Okay.
think it would be beneficial. So yes, we did initial it. We thought we were doing it. They sent us the tool, which we thought was helpful. We missed it, but I think for us to have been in compliance, it would have been helpful, beneficial as us and to the
Your
city.
point is they
saying-
could have caught you earlier, right? The
Yeah.
violation a year earlier.
Yeah, we would have
applied.
We would have certainly,
Right,
we would
right.
have certainly complied. To your point, they did submit, they do send everything for you
Yeah.
to be business owners.
Right.
Business owners.
And that question that I asked them earlier before you came up,
Yeah.
so just so you know, because I saw your comment in your appeal that you thought it might be a disgruntled guest.
Yeah,
It wasn't. It was that application that triggers it. They go back and look, and that sometimes triggers an audit.
yeah,
So,
that was clarified again today,
Yeah.
when he spoke as well,
Okay.
so, yeah.
Mr. Ralston, thank you for your.
Thank you
time
guys
and your
again,
honesty.
thank you for your time as well as a board and
Thank you.
staff standpoint.
I've been asked by staff for a 5-minute. Okay, well, let's do that.
do we need?
Yeah,
to-
I think we need to go ahead and vote.
Do we need to vote even though it was withdrawn?
Yeah. I assume he doesn't get his money back.
You might want to wait till this is answered.
That was gonna be my second question, but
The-
we ended up talking.
It's my understanding, the fee does not cover, it covers basically the administrative process for, processing the.
Okay.
Staff, staff resources to devote it to processing the appeal. I would defer to staff on how they would handle, requests for return of any portion of that processing fee. Because it reached all the way here, my understanding is that would likely not be something that would be refunded to the appellant. With respect to whether you need to consider this, he's withdrawn his appeal at this point. I would just ask him to confirm in light of my advice that he still wants to withdraw his appeal. And if so, then there's no vote.
There's
He's
no vote.
already
Okay.
withdrawn
Okay,
his appeal.
Okay,
Which means that the violation would stand.
Okay.
But it would not be yours to say.
I'm confirming that I'm withdrawing
Okay.
my appeal.
all right.
thank you.
Thanks for your time.
To that, I think it would save all of us time if it was clear on what you can appeal and what you can't. It seemed like there were at least 6 of us that thought we could
Well, see,
appeal that.
that's the one thing I was talking about when my term's up next month.
Yeah.
Maybe setting a note for opinion to the Desert Sun. All these appeals, if they'd have looked at past appeals here, or if they'd have read the ordinance carefully, they would know that we don't have any leeway.
Jurisdiction.
Now, this is what the city council wrote this specifically as a strict liability ordinance, and for us to have no leeway. As a matter of fact, when I first came on the board 6 years ago, we got our fingers slapped because we were trying to, and so there were extenuating circumstances in some cases. And we tried to work that, but like I said, we got smacked up the side of the head by the city council for doing that, and we're told not to. And almost all the appeals we have, there's rarely one that we overturn because they haven't, and it costs you $900, you're already paying 5,000, now here's another $900. And in my mind, if people just thought and looked at the ordinance and looked at past cases, they'd understand they're not gonna win. And it's a darn
Basically
shame.
just making sure that the code was
Yeah.
applied correctly and fairly.
Yeah,
I did everything except look at past cases, and as I was sitting there and I saw the current case, I thought, oh.
you're done.
Yeah.
Sure, thank
Chair
you.
Sinclair, sorry, I do this every now and then when this issue comes up, but I do think it's important to clarify for the record. The board has authority to uphold or overturn a citation.
Right.
What the board does, so the basis that the board looks at when making those decisions and is authorized to do is to consider the facts. For example, first, did a violation actually occur? Is the factual basis for the citation? Did that occur?
Yeah.
The board also has the ability to evaluate whether the language of the ordinance actually applies to that circumstance. And whether there's a basis for overturning the appeal on that basis. So it's not that the board does not have the authority to review an appeal. However, the appellant should understand that the ordinance does not authorize the board to waive a fine where there has actually been a violation.
Right,
Or to modify the penalties associated with the violation. Or to waive any provision of the ordinance or any requirement in the ordinance in order to overturn a violation. So I just think that that's an important distinction. To clarify, you know, the comments that the board makes with respect to what your authority is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah, I
Council.
think we understand all that. At least I hope we do.
Yep.
Again, thank you for your
Thank you,
time.
Council.
Enjoy the rest of your time on
You
the
too.
board.
And now you wanted 5 minutes. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, a stretch, and let the city and the council confer with whatever they need to talk about.
Okay. We'll take that 5 minutes, so is that?
You know, I'm just gonna stretch. I actually don't have to go to the bathroom this time. till next month. Is that correct?
We'll call the meeting back to order.
Yeah, call the meeting back to order, please.
I'll call the meeting back to order. Call the meeting to order.
Then move on to the item as we normally would.
And then the next item is, can do this, I can turn my bifocals on. It's item number 8, appeal decision of Van and Sala, permanently eligible to operate a vacation rental and the administrative fine of $5,000 for an unregistered vacation rental property located at 2292 East Alami Avenue Road, Palm Springs. I've been advised by staff and council that due to some circumstances from the past, that it's advisable for us at this point to continue this matter till, I guess, next month. Would that be correct?
Chair Sinclair, just for the record, the concern was that, there were some technical difficulties at the beginning of the meeting that prevented staff from being able to, turn on the original Zoom link provided to the appellants. Staff was able to confirm with the other appellants that they were able to attend their hearings, but has not been able to confirm with the final appellant that they are able to attend. Technically, because all the board members are here, the Zoom feature is really optional. However, out of an abundance of caution, and to avoid any due process concerns, I think it's advisable to continue this item until the next hearing. So that the appellant, has, full opportunity to participate, notwithstanding the technical issues that happened earlier today.
I assume we should have a motion to continue.
You need a motion to continue that item until the next hearing.
May I have a motion to continue?
Sure, I move that we continue item 8 to June's meeting.
I'll
Right.
second it.
And any discussion?
No discussion.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Board Member Vasily,
Aye.
Vice Chair Parker,
Aye.
and Chair Sinclair.
Aye,
Motion carries 3-0.
thank you. Our next board meeting is,
Wait, you got a whole bunch of stuff on this.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm being goofy. Excuse me. Pay attention, Wayne. Any comments and requests from the board at this point?
Yes, I have some.
Okay,
So two things. Number one, the amendment to the code, the suggested amendment to the code relative to property management companies that Patrick and I are working on. We're going to, I spoke with Cassandra. We're gonna take that back and put it into a more formal proposal to the board.
okay,
But what do I want to say? In general, the same language would be there as we talked about last during.
and do you want to do that next month? It needs
Yeah.
to be agenda. item.
Yeah, so we'll put that on the agenda for next month
Okay.
as a discussion point.
And number 2,
The second thing is, Patrick, thank you for your email regarding the question related to tenant, when it was a tenant. And I think Cassandra forwarded that email exchange to
Mhm.
to you guys as
Right.
well.
Saw that.
I would just like to, I don't know if it's, I think given your response, my vote on that case earlier that I quoted in that email in August would have been different that evening than upholding the violation. So I don't know if we need to, because in that case, I'm sorry, the case from last month, the owner, I think, submitted a lease to you and say, hey, this is a tenant. And so that was in our packet. And then the case from last August that I was asking Patrick about, the gentleman, he probably assumed, well, let me appeal this because it was my tenant. And so he said, this was my tenant. He submitted a lease, I think, as part of his appeal. But we upheld the decision. And I think that was a different decision than what we did last month. And it was I think it was the same thing. It's just that the one from last month brought it up to you guys, I think during the process. So I think we just need to look at that because I don't know, to me, two citizens have the same issue and they were treated differently. in that instance, and it's just because of the circumstance, the way that it happened.
I will allow staff to respond as well. However, I will note during the last meeting, this issue did come up. And I believe I opined that I understand your concern, board member, and it's something certainly staff can consider and staff can respond to. I just want to note for the record and anyone who might be watching that I did opine on the, publicly in response to a staff question that that while you may view it as inconsistent treatment by staff, and it's certainly in terms of your recommendation to council, your prerogative to opine on that. You did consider validly the last, both the citation that was issued in August and the citation that was issued, last month, or the citation that you considered, last month. And I believe at that time I advised you that you're looking at whether there's a basis in the ordinance to hold that individual responsible for the violation, and in both instances, there is. It's a question of whether staff has pursued against a certain individual or not. I just want to clarify that just so that there's no misunderstanding from anyone who may be watching that there was any misconception that the board improperly upheld violations that were asserted as against property owners as opposed to tenants. I do continue to believe that the board it came to the right conclusion in those instances that the ordinance does impose a strict liability on the property owners.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. And I remember you last month saying that, each case stands on its own merits and we're evaluating that. I just think given the new information that I had received that the previous case, I would have come to a different decision at that time. That's all I wanted to do. That's all I wanted to say, is I would have made a different recommendation.
No, I fully understand your comments. I just want to make, my comments are for the record and anybody who might watch, it's so as to, that the validity of the board's prior decisions as against property owners with those circumstances are
understand.
not being called into question.
Thank you. That's it. No other comments.
Okay, right.
No comments.
Anything from you, Abe?
There's nothing from me. Thank you, Chair.
Right. Park next meeting, and anything else you need to say?
Next meeting is June 25th, 2024 at 5 p.m.
Okay. So we're adjourned.
Just getting